Today, we will discuss the clouded side of Hong Kong that they don't fill you in about. Hong Kong is known as the monetary capital of Asia, and it's loaded up with inconceivable riches. But it's also a place where every fourth person lives below the poverty line, and the elderly are forced to scavenge for waste just to survive. This is the dark side of Hong Kong that no one talks about. Beginning with Hong Kong's lodging issue, Hong Kong has the world's greatest expense of living. Despite its wealth, many of its residents live in conditions that would be unthinkable elsewhere. Hong Kong's housing problem is ridiculous and one of the world's most unequal. Without spending any money, an average person would save for an apartment in almost 20 years. In no other city do renters spend more than 50% of their income. However, cage homes have grown as a result of people's desire for housing. Subdivided flats are Hong Kong apartments illegally divided into many little housing units. But why? That requires a brief history. Positive non-interventionism, the purest form of capitalism, has guided Hong Kong. Government restrictions and interventions stifle the economy, hence the government should stay out of it. It had no tariffs, customs, minimum wage, official pension program, competition law, or social welfare until the late 20th century. Most crucially, it had very low taxes to keep private sector money out of the government hands. This decision was problematic because taxes are how countries make money. The colonial government found other revenue sources without taxes. The government never sold any of Hong Kong's territory while it was a colony. From that point forward, Hong Kong has brought in its cash by renting the land to land designers. Hong Kong relies on these leases for revenue, thus they must be pricey. The government makes more money by keeping housing prices high. Thus, it only leases a small part of the land that could be used to build property. But it works for real estate developers because they know that whatever they build will sell at any price they want due to the limited supply and market monopoly. How does this affect the average person? Housing is scarce and insufficient for the city's population. Non-interventionism causes more than expensive housing. In spite of its high gross domestic product, 23% of Hong Kong's populace, 1.6 million individuals, lived beneath the destitute line in 2020. This exceeds most Asian countries. More than 40% of people over 65 were below the poverty line in 2020, leading to the phenomenon of cardboard grandmas, older people who collect cardboard boxes throughout the city to sell to recyclers for a small amount of money, often their only job. Since 1980, the poverty rate has practically doubled, worsening the situation. But why? For what reason are such countless destitute individuals quite possibly the most affluent city on the planet when joblessness is low and the economy is developing? Hong Kong is rich, yet its money is very unequally distributed. This was deliberate. Hong Kong developed in two waves. In the 1950s, Hong Kong industrialized, especially in textile manufacturing, because of low taxes, easy export, and inexpensive labor from millions of Chinese immigrants. Hong Kong profited because textile factories required workers and they needed jobs. Hong Kong found an easier way to make money in the late 1970s, changing this. China's economic transition began when a new leader replaced Chairman Mao. Hong Kong has benefited greatly. For Hong Kong, a British territory with cheap taxes, English as an official language, and capitalist culture was a logical gateway to China for Western corporations investing there. This transformed Hong Kong's economy. Local firms switched to financial and commercial services when manufacturing declined. These sectors have higher added value and better compensation, but fewer jobs. The factory workers who couldn't get the higher wage-paying finance jobs were left behind and forced to work low-paying service jobs in the world's most expensive city, which is getting even more expensive every year. The government has also been reluctant to assist them. Hong Kong's non-interventionism and small government beliefs withstood China's 1997 takeover. Government should produce wealth, not transfer it, and promote individual responsibility. It has resisted becoming engaged. Notwithstanding, Hong Kong's financial climate is not even close to fair, regardless of its standing as a center for business ventures. Since colonial times, a few dynasties have dominated most of Hong Kong's economy. These families own major businesses that have monopolies in key areas like shipping, construction, real estate, and utilities. They benefit most from the Hong Kong system and have so much influence that starting a business against their interests is practically impossible. Thus, starting a firm is harder than advertised. Since China has abandoned one country, two systems, Hong Kong's status as Asia's financial capital is declining. It has tightened city authority and taken away Hong Kongers' freedoms. Hong Kong's autonomy and foreign investment value are declining. Hong Kong may become another Chinese metropolis with only skyscrapers, cage homes, and cardboard grandmas to remember its previous greatness. This is the dark side of Hong Kong that they don't tell you. It's a spot loaded up with unimaginable riches and a home to more super high total asset people than some other put in the world. But it's also a place where every fourth person lives below the poverty line, where the elderly are forced to scavenge for waste just to survive, and where hundreds of thousands of people live in the urban hell of so-called cage homes. Thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this.